Hello, in today's video I'm going to show you how to create multiple lead magnets from a single blog post. So I'm going to take one of my blog posts, feed it into the AI engine that I use, and I'm going to produce a summary of that blog post. Then I'm going to use a section of it to create a frequently asked questions lead magnet, and finally I'm going to create a checklist of a certain section of that blog post as well. Okay, so let's jump straight in. Okay, so first of all, let's just take a quick look at the blog post that I'm using. It's this one here, and as you can see, it's fairly lengthy, got some good images in it, and we've got then right at the end of it, I've got a message that I've created a summary, and would they like to look at that summary. So if they click on this link here, or in fact the one at the beginning here, it will take them to the same place, and we'll see the summary lead magnet that I created from that post. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. And this has now come up with a very short summary of that blog post article, and I've got a strong call to action at the end of it to take them back to the website in this instance, but the call to action could be anything you want. Okay, so let's take a look at how I created that summary. Okay, so just before we look at that summary example, let's have a look. This is LeadCreator.ai, which is my favorite tool for creating lead magnets. In fact, I use it on almost a daily basis. But let's just have a look at what happens when we click create a lead magnet. In LeadCreator.ai, one of the things I really love is you've got lots of different templates, and down here we've got a summary of the blog post here. There are all sorts of other ones as well, and we'll look at a couple more examples. But in this one, I'm going to use the blog post Summariser, and then I'm going to personalize customize the way I create that lead magnet using these fields in the prompt screen. Okay, so here's a slightly different summary that I've produced. And as you can see, it's got a slightly different format to it because of the way I did this one. But if we look, as with all lead magnets in LeadCreator.ai, you can always see your original prompt and then regenerate your email if you want to do something else with it. So if I look at this particular prompt, all I did in this one, in fact, is to put the blog post URL that we looked at earlier. I'm not going to use any persona, but I could have used any of these. Some of those names I'm sure you'll recognize. I've made the tone in this particular version conversational. The other version was a different tone. I'm using the second person. I've included an introduction and a conclusion, but you can just toggle those on and off. I've picked out a couple of phrases that it used initially in today's fast-paced world and a world filled with distractions, are not the way I would talk in a conversational way. So I've taken those out and regenerated. You see here I've chosen the English language. There are a number of languages that you can choose from. All the major ones are in there, but I've chosen English. The reading level I've set at college, but you can set to different levels if you choose to. Okay, so by simply quoting your blog post URL and changing your customization settings here, then you can generate your lead magnet. Now obviously that then will need to be formatted. If you've got a particular area, maybe the conclusion, if I highlight that, I can ask AI to make that a bit longer, and it will regenerate that. And assuming I'm happy with that one, then I can replace the section and we've got a longer conclusion. I can do that with any of the sentences, phrases, paragraphs. You can redo the headings, etc., etc., like I did in the original shortened version that we looked at, add images, so on and so forth. So it's very easy to format your lead magnet in the way that you want it to appear. Okay, so that's the summary. Let's go and have a look at the frequently asked questions sample. Okay, here's another version of the lead magnet which I created, which is an FAQ guide, frequently asked questions. So if we look at the prompt that I use, what I actually did was to take a section out of the summarized blog post that we looked at in the last example, and I asked the AI using the FAQ maximizer that LeadCreator.ai has as one of the templates to create frequently asked questions based on that. And again, I changed my customization settings here. In this one, for example, I used the persona of Neil Patel, and when we generated, here's what we got from that, and it is questions. What's a frazzled mind? What causes a frazzled mind? So on and so forth. Now again, we'd need to format that, maybe create a new heading for it, format that so it looks really good, add some images, put some white space in, maybe a few bullet points, so on and so forth, which is very, very easy to do in LeadCreator.ai. And of course, in this example, I took a snippet from the summarized lead magnet that I'd done, but you could do a whole host of things with FAQ. I've done some with some PLR that I add, and I've taken different sections and created frequently asked question style lead magnets from those. So there's no limit to what you can do with the templates in LeadCreator.ai. Okay, so let's have a look at the checklist that I created. Okay, so here's the checklist that I did earlier. You see, I've asked it to put icons at the front of each heading, each subheading in there. And if we look at the prompt again, the way I did that was in this instance, I used the raw GPT option, and I asked the engine to consider that blog post, and that's the one we looked at before, and use the content to create a checklist for managing distractions and put the icons to it. So the AI engine in LeadCreator.ai has gone back to the blog post and looked at the content and created a relevant checklist for distractions. Again, I've made it conversational in this one, no persona, put an introduction and a summary. I could put a call to action in there as well, English UK and college level again. Okay, so what it's actually produced is this. So we've got a degree of formatting in there already. I mean, I would certainly break this down by, for example, very easily inserting a horizontal rule between each section. I would probably add some images in here. So if we take this section, I might put an image at the beginning of this, and I would use this particular one, which is the Eisenhower matrix. If you're not familiar with that, it's a very useful way of prioritizing your actions, and so on. So you know, we might add some more white space into some of these, probably where it suits. Take a section and make it into bullet points and maybe numbered lists, and then putting a strong call to action at the end, probably by adding a button in. Yeah, and then the button, you can change the text and the link. So the text, I would just say, yes please show me, or something like that. Click that, and then the link, you put in the link to wherever you want to send them back to. Okay, so that's the checklist type one that I created. And again, coming back to the prompt, you could refine this and get it doing other things as well. But that just to show you the example of using that raw GPT template. Okay, one final option I want to look at with you is I used this one to create a 5-day challenge. So again, if we look at the prompt, I've quoted in this case I've used the template, which is a micro course creator with image suggestions, but I've asked it to do a little bit more. In this one, again, I've given it the blog post to refer to, and I've asked it to create a 5-day email challenge. I've asked it to draft the emails and also suggest content for the worksheets for each day, and asked it also to do a welcome email and a final email. And so if we look at the output of that, then we've got the initial email, welcome to the challenge, when they've signed up for it. We've got day 1, understanding the power of focus, and here's a suggestion for worksheet. So you could then take that and ask LeadCreator.ai again to create the worksheet for you. So you could create that as and download it as a PDF document. That's relatively easy to do. Day 2 with the content, day 3 and the content. It's also suggesting images that you might want to put in here, before and after images of a workspace transformation, for example. Mastering time management, again, you might want to expand this to a particular time management tool, maybe sort of Pomodoro, that type of thing. So you can obviously enhance these once you've got the basics done for you. But that's done, you know, a lot of heavy lifting to create a 5-day challenge. Obviously you'd need to refine those based on your autoresponder that you're going to set it up in, but nevertheless it's done a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so essentially, very quickly, from the original blog post that we had, I've actually created 4 different lead magnets. Yes, they need more work to be able to publish them and use them fully, but you know, the as I said before, the heavy lifting is done for you, and you can create an awful lot of resources from a single blog post using LeadCreator.ai. Okay, again, so looking at what we've done, we've created multiple lead magnets from a single blog post. We did the summary, the FAQ, the checklist, and also an email challenge, all from a single blog post. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, I'd be most grateful if you could like the video below, share the video with anyone else you think might find it useful, and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. There are some on the channel, but we will be creating a lot more. And finally, check out the links below. I put a link into LeadCreator.ai where you'll find a free demo. So I think you'll find that useful to look at in more detail. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.